All right, guess not. We tried to do the little countdown thing, but I guess we didn't pay our fee, so that's what that is. We in the building, man. Down in Sports Talk, man. You got left-handed right here at RM Desk on Twitter. You got my code D as always in the building right there, Yada Bear. Make sure you send all the emails to Yada Bear. She's a star right now. Make sure you check it out. Check her out. She does her thing on the Star Report. Rest in peace, Willis Reed, the captain, New York Knicks. In my lifetime, and I've been around a minute, you know what I mean? There's been a couple of captains, you know, that I, talk about, and I'm proud to talk about being a New York sports fan. All right. Yeah, Willis Reed, Thurman Munson from the Yankees, and Derek Jeter. Like those three guys, those are the captains. I mean, you could throw Messier in there, but he wasn't really a Ranger like that. You know the story about that. But Willis Reed, I can't really speak on it, but I can speak on it. As a little kid, sitting on the floor, at my grandfather's side, he's watching Channel 9 in New York, WOR, the Knicks games coming on almost every night. Marv Albert doing his thing. Those Knicks squads, Dave DeBusschere, Bill Bradley, Dick Barnett. You know what I'm saying? Then came, Clyde Frazier and Earl of Pearl Monroe. The steadying hand of that team was Willis Reed, the captain. He did everything that he needed to do to get us a championship, and he was the catalyst for that last championship in 1973. Yeah, it was that long ago, but still we hold on to it, and it's okay because we lived through that. And to give him his respect, I kind of think that he deserves everything that he gets. You know what I mean? Yeah, he made us mad as Knicks fans when he went over there to the New Jersey Nets at the time, and he was working in that front office. We was like, what is, we calling him, he was drunk and all this. And, we said, because we're from New York, we get to say that. You know what I mean? But, at the end of the day, Willis Reed is one of the all-time Knicks. And again, if you want to put Patrick Ewing up there, that's on you. I put Willis Reed right there with him. All right. Much respect to him. He lived a long life, great person. I got the honor to meet him one night. I think it was at Clyde Frazier's restaurant. And it was after a game. I think they was playing the Pacers. And very, very, great guy. Shook my hand. And, all he wanted to do was talk about basketball. And not the basketball from his day. He wanted to talk about the Reggie Millers and the Mark what's his name? The guard who used to play for Cleveland. His name escapes me.
Mark Price.
Yeah, he wanted to talk about those guys. So again, much respect to Willis Reed, and he's always going to be an icon in New York sports history, period. And that's all I want to really get into about that right now because we got a lot of stuff to talk about in the show. We're going to do National League.
Willis Reed real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Yada. Go ahead, let's go.
From being a sports fan in those eras, sitting, talking to my father and my grandfather, talking about older generations and just doing research on my own, watching old YouTube clips. Me being a Sixers fan, I can definitely respect his work. His work in that paint was vicious. True Knicks fans, will know, May 8th, 1970.
Absolutely.
Game 7 against the Lakers, they didn't think he was going to play. He had a deep thigh bruise. He was hurt. He only scored 2 points in that game, but what he did on the defense and just being out there was crazy. I would put him above Patrick Ewing for one reason and one reason only. Well, I would say 2 reasons. He has 2 rings.
The chips, absolutely.
He has 2 championships.
I feel you on that.
There.
Yep.
Seeing those teams, watching some old games, extremely physical. He went up against Wilt. He went up against
Luau Sindor.
A couple of years of the guy in Boston. I can't think of his name.
Russell.
we had a couple years of Bill going up against Bill. It was just a lot of like talent in that center position.
When the center was a real position, right?
Yeah, during his heyday, that he always to me get overlooked. So when we
Mm.
think about centers, in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, on that era, we're talking about Wilt, we're talking about Bill Russell, we're talking about Lou Alcindor, but it seemed like Willis Reed always get lost in the sauce where he was, the man out
Hmm.
there. So he definitely did, live a long life. Um, rest in peace to a New York Knicks legend. Like you
Absolutely.
said, the captain and the ultimate center for the New York Knicks, number one up there, Willis Reed.
Absolutely. And when you talk about catalyst and somebody who really represented the game as an ambassador of the game, Willis Reed, he did what he did his thing. He moved up into the executive offices and
Yeah,
still was a prominent figure around in basketball. And when you mention the name Willis Reed, people will look up and say, okay, yeah, I remember
yeah.
the coming through the tunnel and things of that nature. Now everybody tries to do the Willis Reed thing, Paul Pierce in the wheelchair and all this,
Uh-huh.
what I mean?
Yep.
So again, Willis Reed is always going to be remembered as, like you said, the guy that was the catalyst of those championship teams. And how could I
Yeah.
forget Dave DeBuscher? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And those guys that really, really were the New York Knicks. And again, like I said, watching those guys play, it was like watching, I don't want to say ballet, but again, watching how the game is supposed to be played, the ball movement. Every one of those guys could shoot. All right. And this was the day before the 3-point line. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So if you needed a 20-footer, all right, you could give the ball to any one of those guys and they'll
Yeah.
knock it down for you. And again, that's where we kind of, as Knicks fans, we get caught up in the nostalgia of those days. We don't necessarily want those days back because we're so removed from those days. But again, nobody could take those days from us. And those guys, from those teams and are leaving us. You know what I mean? So again, rest in peace to Willis Reed, and again, respect to the New York Knicks again, because if it wasn't for the Knicks, then I wouldn't be sitting down talking about basketball with my grandfather. You know what I mean? Making sure that I did what I needed, my homework was done before I get to watch that 7:30 game at on Channel 9. So respect to Willis Reed. Now we're in the part of the show where the ubiquitous Yada Bear, she's over there. She gets to speak her mind about some things that she wants to talk about in the world of sports. Yada Bear, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. First, I would like to talk about Lamar Jackson. We was talking about him behind the scene. Had a brief conversation with Star from the Star Report the other day about Lamar, and the word that was coming up and has been floating around is collusion within these NFL teams that need quarterback. It's very hard to discover collusion and point out collusion and make a case for it, but sometimes it's there. You can clearly see it, even though they try to hide it in plain sight. You see the collusion. Like when I look at teams like Washington, and I look at teams like the Patriots and the Panthers, the Texans. Um, I probably even throw in
Colts.
Pittsburgh, the Colts. There's several teams that need a quarterback. I mean, need a quarterback. Tampa Bay. You just signed Andy Dalton. You didn't even, no one's even looking at this guy. And it seems like as soon as they place that non-exclusive franchise tag on this man, he became like a cancer. Like nobody wants to talk to him. Nobody wants to touch it. Like if you talk to him, you're gonna be out. You're gonna get kicked out the good old boys club and things like that. Where he's 26 years old. He's a former MVP. He's a proven starter. He's a proven winner. We see what he can do, but instead we get the likes of Mike White getting signed,
Mm.
Andy Dalton getting signed. We got and 39
Baker
year old
Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. You got this old 39-year-old that's getting the red carpet treatment
Right.
from the Jets, where you have a 26-year-old starter, former MVP, and as I said to my Cody backstage, it seems like being an MVP doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't really matter because if it did, then his phone would be ringing off the hook with offers or just a meeting. So to me, it's mind blowing. Um, I definitely think that I wouldn't play next season, not for no 1 year deal. And I know people will say, "Oh, well, he's injury prone." Well, he plays football. Everybody's injury prone in football,
Let's go.
especially when you play the quarterback position
Right.
and
And how he
you're a
yep, and how he moves
physical,
within the offense. Absolutely.
yeah,
That's right.
and you're a physical runner, and you have a terrible offensive line that you have to run for your life out there. Of course, he's going to get injured. Every football player is injury prone. So I need them to throw that lingo out the window because everybody has a hot word, and that's a hot word right there. Injury prone, which brings down his stock value. And you know what else is crazy too? When I see quarterbacks like that's a Cam Newton who's still looking for a job, who's 36 years old, who can still play the position on the right team. But again, we have teams out there who's throwing out the red carpet. They are signing everybody but his mother and his father to the Jets, you know? And I'm like, you have other guys out here who can play this position. Um, and I'm not going to say, what we all can visually see.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main factors is, we can see it. Everybody can see it. Stevie Wonder can see it. But I don't have to say it because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say about that. Now, I want to talk about the NCAA women's tournament. How, on the men's side, we see a bunch of number ones go down. But how ironic is it to have, one school, both men's and women's team ranked number one, both go down? It's crazy that Indiana men and women's squad went down. They're going home, but the Indiana women's team, they was already home. Losing to Miami, which was it was a fantastic game.
Didn't the
Came
did the
down,
men didn't the men lose to Miami too?
yes, yeah.
Oh man.
It's a it's a bad week for Indiana versus Miami. They don't want to see they don't want to see Miami
They
Vice.
they, they,
They
hey,
don't,
they crossed Miami off the spring break list.
they want to see Miami Vice. They want to see the Miami Heat, the
Right,
Miami Dolphins.
right.
They don't want to
Miami
see nobody
Marlins.
in
They don't want to
Miami.
see nothing.
They
Right.
don't want to see no Miami
Disney World. They
Hurricanes,
don't
nothing,
see
nothing. They
none of
don't
that.
want to go. They want to stay away from the state of Florida altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want it's just crazy to see that and to see you know Indiana went down, hit a three, was up by one, about like 5 seconds left. Miami drove it back down the court, and next thing you know, that mid range took a time mid range, banked it in. Game over. I said, wow. So we have Indiana going. We have what's the other number one that went down?
Stanford.
Stanford. Stanford went down bad too. They went down bad because they got beat, like beat, and a lot of people
they got taken behind the shed.
Yeah, they got told go get a switch from outside,
and not one of them short ones either.
Not one of them short ones come back in, so that I can take care of that.
Right.
But yeah, they got beat bad. And a lot of people had Stanford as one of the top teams to win the tournament, but not today. And I want to give a shout out definitely to South Carolina, who's still pushing it on. Also LSU, Angel Reese, killing it out there. Killing it. Last game she had about 26 points and I believe 24 rebounds. Crazy stats. Caitlin Clark,
absolutely.
Again, putting out a shooting clinic and also distributing the basketball out there. I want to give a shout out to my Villanova Wildcats out there doing a thing too. Shiger, she out there just destroying it. Like the basket must look huge to her too, because she's just killing it. She right now all-time leading scorer. And also I gotta give a shout out to Tennessee. A team that has been in the past dominating women's college basketball. When Pat Summitt retired and passed away, it kind of fell off a little bit. But now the cream is rising to the crop again, and they balling just like in UConn. Can't throw UConn out. They balling crazy out there too. So this Sweet 16 going to be very interesting, and it's going to be a lot of great games, a lot of great competition. But yeah, that's all I want to say about that.
All right, no doubt. You know what it is. Yada Speaks in the building. Get that Yada Bear right there. You know what I mean? Any topics you want to discuss? She's on Twitter heavy. She's on the Star Report heavy. You know what I mean? Make sure you check out Yada Bear's in the building down at In Sports. You already know. All right. I want to talk a little bit and add on a little bit in regards to the NCAA tournament, March Madness. A lot of people were saying, well, a lot of the Blue Buds, the North Carolinas, the Kentuckys, the Kansases, they're not in the tournament. But there are also some teams that are, we don't call them Blue Bloods because they don't carry that name like that. But they're always around and in the tournament. Gonzaga, Michigan State, UConn, right? And I might be missing one because I'm going off the top of the head. But this NCAA tournament is about to get real. It's down to the Sweet 16. Coach movement has already started. Okay, Rick Pitino already left Iona to go to St. John's. And Fairleigh Dickinson's coach, Anderson, he left Fairleigh Dickinson to go to Iona.
Flip-flopping real quick, right?
Yeah, Michigan State. Shout out to Windwalk. I see you. Michigan State. Yeah, I mentioned Michigan State. Salute. Yeah, so again, it's the more things change, the more they stay the same. I'm looking forward to seeing some things. I kind of want Princeton to do some things because, again, you always got to have that Cinderella, the glass slipper. We talked about that 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, again, you got a team, that like Princeton that's not scared of anybody. They're in here, expecting to get beat, and people expecting them to get beat, but here they go. And we're not going to go into the same conversation that we have all the time. It's like the teams that you don't really hear about or talk about or know about. Those teams, they feel like if they're close with 5 minutes left, their foot is on the other team's neck because you got that blue blood. That team is supposed to come in here and win by 25 or 30 points. The game is a 3-point game with 5 minutes left. Who's the pressure on? Shout out to Breonna Stevens. Salute. We see you. And thank you for the support offering for Down in Sports Talk. Cash App, $, left-handed. Helps keep the lights on. You know what I mean? and it helps Yada Bear can respond to those emails. You know what I'm saying? So we in the building, the support offering for Down in Sports Talk, yo. Cash App, $ left handed. We're in the building. But yeah, Win Walker, I see you. Rest in peace, Willis Reed. Absolutely. Yeah, so it's about to get real. March Madness is in the building. Absolutely. So what we also want to talk about and what we want to get into, because again, baseball season is sneaking up on us. Right now, we're watching the World Baseball Classic, the final, the championship game. Okay, you got the United States going against Japan, and right now the score is what, 2-1. Japan was leading. So again, after this is over, everybody goes back to their teams and proceeds as normal. But we want to get into a little National League, preview, talk about some things. Okay, we're going to get into our teams next week. Yada Bear is going to talk about her Phillies, and I'm going to talk about, you already know. All right, but go ahead, Yada. What's your thoughts so far? What's your thoughts on the 2023 season as far as the National League is concerned?
I think the National League is going to be it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year over there. A lot of movement. I see Brianna already shouting out her Braves.
Go ahead. I see you.
We can start with the Braves. I mean, listen, the Braves, they brought just about everybody back. We already know what to expect from them. To me, it always comes down to the final 2 weeks of the season. All year, the Braves are going to do, what? Like, I can see them winning about 88 games. I see between.
I see what you did there. I see what you did. I see what you did. I see what you did there.
About 88 games. I can see that. But again, as we have seen for the past, I want to say 3 seasons, that the season for in the NL always comes down to the final 2 weeks of the season. Yeah, 88.
I see what you. I see. I'm listening. I hope you're listening, Brianna. I hope send your emails to Yada Bear.
Because when we look at the NL East, again, it's very tight. We are very tight and top heavy. Mets, Braves, Phillies. I'm not even going to put my team up top because I know what it is in the regular season. We saw what happened last year. Cream always rise to the top. We see that.
I knew that was coming.
But the Mets, the Mets already doing Mets things right now. They're
Brianna said, "I remember that in September."
Take a screenshot of it.
She said, "Write it down. Take a picture." She's talking greasy already.
But the Mets gonna do what the Mets do. The Mets already doing Mets things by
okay.
Is already out for the season. For celebrating.
Edwin Diaz.
Not participating in the game, not in the game, but celebrating. So the Mets is already in Mets form, as we like to call it here in Philly. They're in Mets form already. They brought in all these pitching. Now they're going to have to figure out what to do with the closer situation now. Pete Alonso and the guys, they're going to do what they do. Hit a bunch of home runs, score a lot of runs, and then miss the postseason. I mean, that has been the MO. We have seen it, And why would I think there would be something different this year? I think it's going to be the same thing. The Padres are going to be interesting this year because now we have Tatis back off of suspension. Hopefully, he will stop taking PEDs. Hopefully,
and riding motorcycles
and doing that too, right? So it should be interesting seeing that team as a whole. It's going to be a lot of hitting. Machado, Tatis, Juan Soto. It's a lot of bats on that squad. And then Darvish out there pitching. He's already in mid-season form from playing in the the World Baseball Classic, so he's tuned up for the season. So I think the Padres will be interesting. Um, the Cardinals, I don't know. The Cardinals to me, I feel like they're gonna. I feel like they're like flatline. I think they're gonna stay like the same. It's really no real movement. You still got Goldsmith there.
Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, it's still it's the same, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be different because they lost their catcher. Which one retired?
Yadier Molina.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. He's gone. He was the
Mm-hmm.
heart and soul of the team along with Pujols. There's no so with those two voices out of the clubhouse, it's going to be different. There, who's going to step up and be the leader there? They have so many years with having leadership there that nobody else had to step in that role. Well, who's going to step in that role now?
Mm.
And of course we have the Dodgers.
Mm.
Moneyball up there. The guys who all have 100 million, 200 million, 300 million dollar contracts, who will probably win 101 games again, and I don't know, flare out
And
in the playoffs
lose to the Padres.
and lose to the Padres. Yeah, you know they
Right.
have a all-star lineup, and then they lose to the Padres, just like you said. So the National League, to me, there's no clear-cut dominant team to me. I feel like everyone's pretty evenly matched, especially this season because we get to play everybody.
Right.
Everybody plays
That's right.
everybody. So
That's what everybody plays everybody.
yeah.
That's
So
right.
now there's no surprises. We all get to see each other. So
We're gonna see a World Series matchup before it happens. Right.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I'm loving, and I just can't wait to see how these players adjust to all these new rules, because even though the rules are being enforced in spring training, a lot of the guys are playing in the World Baseball Classic where there's rules don't apply there.
Right. They don't. Right. That's right. That's right.
Those rules don't apply. So it's going to be some type of adjustment when they come back
Mm-hmm.
to play. And when they come back, it's about what 9 days, 9 or 8 days before the regular
Season
season
starts
starts.
March 30th. That's right.
So it's going to be a quick turnaround for them guys, and I think it may affect the pitchers more than the hitters.
Right. Because they got to acclimate themselves now to the pitch clock and
The
get
pitch
ready to
clock,
kind of
yeah.
like, yeah, be ready all the time. Absolutely. I see you,
Yeah,
Win
so
Walker. Let's go Yankees. I see you.
so I think that's going to be I think it's going to be a little issue. But other than that, like I said, I'm just excited for baseball. I can't wait because what I'm seeing in the World Baseball Classic, I just can't wait to see that to come over to Major League Baseball. I'm loving it. I'm loving the time clock. I'm loving that when I love it because it speeds the game up. It speeds it up.
Y'all the best. I got places to be.
Listen, I
said
behind the
a
scenes.
certain period of time to sit here and watch this game. Now I got to go.
I'm not trying to bake in the sun for 3.5 to 4 hours. I don't want to be at the ballpark for my whole shift. Like I'm working at the ballpark. Like is my time clock here? Can I clock
Right.
in? So with the time clock, I'm loving that. If we go extra innings, yes, put somebody at second base. I don't care. Put anybody at second base. Okay, let them start off with somebody on second base, and I don't want no fan.
See, look at this. See, and I see. Shout out to Brianna Stevens. I see you. I mean, we have a purist. Japan just hit a home run. We have a purist, right? That says that's not baseball, and I tend to agree with you. But again, at the end of the day, You want to do something to. Yeah, she said you should be drinking and enjoying the game. If you're drinking, you're really enjoying the game.
I don't want to do it for 4 hours.
But
I want to do
again,
it because look, after 2.5 hours, you hitting that third hour. We may be fighting in the stands.
You're gonna get it cracking for real.
We getting it cracking out there.
when you talk about the National League a little bit, I'm gonna kind of like piggyback on what Yada was talking about with the Mets. I mean, you don't have to overthink it when it comes to the Mets, right? They got the highest payroll in baseball history by a long shot, right?
Yeah.
I think that with $475 million between the payroll and the competitive balance tax, they're going to be hit. If anything less than a World Series championship the season was done. It's a done deal. I think that even if they get to the NLCS and they lose in 7 games, that's not going to get it, right? If you get to the World Series and you lose in 5, that's definitely not going to get it. So the pressure is on the New York Mets to do some things. Edwin Diaz, that's going to be a big part of what they doing and what they get ready to do, what they're trying to do. Can the offense kind of carry that over? I'm not sure, right? They have the bats, Pete Alonso's, the Lindors, those guys like that. But again, pitching is where you win and lose games, and I think that the Mets it's gonna come back to haunt them late August, early September. You know what I mean? And the Mets are gonna have to deal with that. But when you talk about a team like the Atlanta Braves, I know Brianna's waiting for that. The Atlanta Braves, right? Let me get on the Braves for a second. All right. The Braves, they're a recent World Series champion. Much respect to them. They got almost the entire team locked up and locked down, and they could afford them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the window for the Atlanta Braves is not closing anytime soon, but I don't think that's really the way to look at it. Remember the Cubs from 2017 to 2020?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that when you have a team like the Atlanta Braves that can walk in there with the Acuna Juniors and the Spencer Striders and those guys, they come in and say, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to lock this down. We're going to win 100 games, but it takes more than that. I think that the best opportunity for Atlanta is right now. It's always the current year. So it's right now for them to kind of like reestablish themselves as the kings of the National League East. Because certain people who were in the World Series last year, right, and certain people who spend a lot of money, you know what I mean, to kind of like be the kings of the back page of New York, you know who I'm talking about, that's not going to get it done. And I'm going to need more than somebody beating the ice cold dude in the warning track at the 7-inning stretch. I'm going to need more than that. You know what I mean? So, again, when you talk about the Atlanta Braves, they have all the components to do it, but can they do it? It's another year down, and everybody else is kind of like closing the gap between the Braves and the National League East and everybody else. The San Diego Padres, kind of same story. They got a top-heavy lineup. You already know what it is with them. You know, Fernando Tatis makes them that much better. But which Fernando Tatis is going to show up? Are we going to get Evel Knievel Tatis, who likes to ride on motorcycles and break his wrists every year? Or we get the Tatis that everybody's scared of, right? So, again, when you talk about the Padres, that small market thing is just a mindset, right? $275 million. That's the third highest luxury tax. All right? What up, Star? That's the third highest luxury tax. $275 million for the San Diego Padres. Yeah. All right? I mean, again, Manny Machado, you gave him an 11-year extension. You got to get a championship out of there somewhere.
You got to, right?
You got to. I mean, beating the Dodgers in the playoffs last year was a start. But again, I think that, you know, they're spending money. So you got to respect that. They proved that they could get past the Dodgers. You got to respect that. But at the end of the day, the World Series is not beating the Dodgers.
Nah.
So again, the Padres have to do some things. You know, and when you talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers, I mean, again, I think that this certain space right here for the Dodgers is weird. All right. They kind of took a step back in the offseason, and I think that everybody else has kind of got a little bit closer than them, and this is the weakest that they've been in the last 10 years. because all you talked about from years prior was the National League West. You could write that down in pen. The Dodgers are going to win the National League West. Like Yada said, they're going to win 100 games. They're going to win the West, and they're going to do their thing, right? But I think that they're putting younger players into the mix, the Miguel Vargases of the world, Michael Busch probably on the roster. Is going to be a different mindset for the Dodgers. I think that Julio Urias, one of those, those pitchers that they have, is coming into free agency. Clayton Kershaw, he's, on the back end of his career, going year to year. He couldn't pitch in the World Baseball Classic because of his contract situation, and they were worried about injuries, which was a precursor to some things to come. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, they got guys. You know what I mean? But again, the Padres got guys, right? The Mets got guys. The Braves got guys.
Braves got guys.
So, yeah, absolutely. So when you talk about the National League, and y'all mentioned this, the St. Louis Cardinals again. I don't want to, really sleep on them because they're one of those teams. I mean, and look at the division that they play in.
Yeah.
Essentially. You know what I mean? So it's not really, nobody's going to really, light the world on fire. You got the Cubs, the Pirates, you know what I mean? The Brewers, no. And you still talking about the Cardinals being one of the top teams in not the National League, at least the Central. Adam Wainwright, the mission should be for them, to get them another ring. And I'm not talking about a World Baseball Classic ring. You know what I'm saying? Make it happen. Albert Pujols, you know what I mean? Yadier Molina, those guys were icons in St. Louis. We're past that now. Yep. Move on. And it's about moving forward to 2023 and beyond. When you talk about teams like, I mean, who else are you going to talk about? San Francisco Giants. They're the biggest losers of the whole season. They had a chance to get Aaron Judge. They whiffed on him, right? And who was the other guy? I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings to say the name, but who was the other guy? Did it mean that they had a chance to get, they didn't get? But anyway, Carlos Correa. I was gonna wait for somebody else to say it in the chat room. Carlos Correa,
the guy that's been on 8 teams.
Absolutely. So again, when you talk about the San Francisco Giants, it was a terrible offseason. Nobody wants to be, in that. You know what I mean? Shout out to Mike Yastrzemski. You know what I mean? Shout out to, those guys, Conforto, Mitch Haniger. But when you talk about the San Francisco Giants, it's like an afterthought. And no disrespect to them, but it is what it is. We in the building, man, down at In Sports Talk Tuesday night. You already know the vibes, 8 to 9 p.m. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat room, rocking with us. We on Facebook, we on YouTube, we on StreamYard, and we in the building. Whatever sports topics you want to talk about, shout us out in the chat room. That's Yada Bear over there. I'm left-handed right here at RM Desk. Get at me. You already know the vibes. Can we go back to talk about the NBA for a second? Because you already know. We talked earlier today. And we talked a little while ago behind the scenes.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Go ahead.
I gotta step off one moment. Okay, I'll be right back. Go ahead, hold it down. I'll be right back.
All right, I got you already. So you already know. Yada Bear, she's gotta step away for a second and let me do my thing because she wants all the emails to come to me, and I get it. I can stand the heat. The New York Knicks, my New York Knicks, right? And please, you youngsters and you cats that really don't know nothing about, when the Knicks were great, right? Don't get at me. Y'all been talking all season. And yeah, this is you, Julito, my man Julito from The Wire. Yes, my man Julito from The Wire, all right? Y'all been talking all season long about how the Knicks are going to do this. The Knicks are going to win the championship. The Knicks are going to be great. The Knicks are going to be good. All right. Right now, we're in a situation where we could get the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. You got Julius Randle, who's been playing out of his mind all year long, and I'm not mad at that. He might get another Comeback Player of the Year award. 57 points last night. But here's the thing. He had 52 at the start of the fourth quarter. He finished with 57. The Knicks gave up 140 points. The Knicks lost at home to a team that was undermanned. We played the Minnesota Timberwolves. They had no Anthony Edwards. How do you lose a game like that? How? And Julito and all you guys and all y'all, salute to y'all. Y'all been real quiet, right? And I'm not mad at you. It just is what it is. And I say this to say, when you talk, it's not about being right. It's not about being wrong. It's about being real and facing what it is. And what it is right now is a Knicks team that's good, but they can do better. All this talk about, the Knicks are going to do this, and we're going to be Eastern Conference. So I said to my man at Knicks Fan TV, shout out to CP from Knicks Fan TV. I said, shouldn't the goal right now be get game 1 of the playoffs at Madison Square Garden? He agreed with me wholeheartedly. He agreed. So the second thing should be to try to win 50 games. If you're a team like that, that's live like that, you should win. You should have 50 wins under your belt, and you should have home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Period. Last night was a perfect example of why that can't happen with this current regime, why that won't happen with this current regime, and all these bad fans that jumping out the window, they're fooling themselves. I'm not saying that the Knicks are going to get knocked out in the first round. I hope they don't. But then if they do, then that'll be an indictment on them as well. And all I said at the beginning of the season, and Yada Bear could quote me on this, I want to be respectable. We got to earn what we get. We could be better in increments. We don't have to jump out the window and say, oh, we're going to the Eastern Conference Finals, or we're going to, sweep the Philadelphia 76ers. And I see Yada Bear pop back in, right when okay, you see how she do? See how she do me? You see how she do me, right? Yeah, send them emails over there. You know what I mean? I might send them emails.
57 points.
57 points. 57, and he had, and because Yada hit me last night, she was like, "Yo, your man got 52 points. He might go for 60." I'm watching the game. I'm like, "Word." I'm like, "It's the Knicks are gonna nick, right? The Knicks are gonna nick, right?" So I'm not, and again, I'm gonna say this to the youngsters out there: anytime that you don't hear something that you agree with, that's agreeable with you, you go to the hate chamber. It's not hate at all. It's being real. Mm-hmm. Because I could sit here and with my chest out, because I've been a Knicks fan since '73. And no, I don't remember the championship. No, I don't. So that really don't even count to me. I'm just sitting there going like this with my grandfather, like, yeah, Willis Reed and Dave DeBusschere, Bill Bradley. Yeah, I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But now as a grown man and watching and going through the heartbreaks of, 94 when we got disrespected by NBC showing the OJ stuff on every channel. I never forget that. Right?
If the glove don't fit.
Oh man. Like I don't even want to talk about that, right? And then 5 years later, when we went to the finals, it was a shortened season. We played 54 games. We played San Antonio. Patrick Ewing got hurt. That's the year we had Sprewell. And we went to the finals, the Allen Houston thing against Miami and all that. Right? So again, with all of that, getting, Reggie Miller, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, you name it.
Patrick Ewing putting up a finger roll instead of dunking the ball.
See, there you go. See.
Oh, sorry.
See how you do? See how she do me? See how she do me? Right? Okay.
I wasn't supposed to say
again,
that. I didn't know.
I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Expect the email. That's all I'm saying. But again, when Walker Allen Houston and all that. But again, right now, as we stand in 2023, the Knicks have come a long way from where they've been, but we're not anywhere close to where we're going. And last night was an indictment on and an example of what happens. All they talked about today was Julius Randle, career high, 57 points. And what? What does that mean? You know what I mean? What is that? What does that mean? Julius Randle had 57 points at home, and they lost.
That was what do I call them? Meaningless points. Because at the end of the day, we still lost.
It goes in the L column. It goes, and that was a game that we could have used to get us closer. Because again, we looked at it. I'm gonna say this: the Sixers lost last night in double overtime.
Yes, we did.
So again, any chance that we have to at least close the gap a little bit, and we're not even worried about the Sixers at this point. Their spot is solid. We're
the number 2 seed because guess what? that loss, it doesn't matter because guess what? We getting home playoff games.
See, that's how you could talk when you have home court sealed up. But when you're chasing like the Cleveland Cavaliers for the 4th spot, and you have a chance to kind of like gain some ground, this is where you take advantage of it. And this it's not December, right?
Yeah.
We got 9 games left in the season. So again, at the end of the day, every game counts. And one of these, to blow one of these, it bothers me as a Knicks fan, but it either bothers me more because it doesn't bother the other Knicks fans. Yeah, they're more concerned about Julius Randle and how many points he had. But
losing to a team that didn't have their star players out there.
Right, that's right.
And they put up 46 points.
The Knicks gave up 140.
100 in a regular season game. It was no extra. It was no extra quarters. There was no overtime. Like, that's crazy to me. To think that you let a team come in and drop 140 in regulation. That was just nuts to me.
Go ahead.
But because I see a special person in the comment section, who wasn't around last week. Mr. Win. Mr. Lakers win.
You want to talk about Magic Johnson and the Commanders. Knock it off. Let's go.
No. We're not talking about Magic. We're talking about when will the Lakers win a game. You got 9 games.
Windwalker.
Yeah. When? When you guys gonna win? You got your man AD out there. He's not even AD. I'm gonna call him Anthony.
AD ointment.
Anthony Davis out there who don't want to play when he's healthy. His coach is telling everybody, "Oh, Anthony is healthy. He's healthy," and then AD Thomas, he still feel like he has pain. He don't want to play. He don't want to be with the Lakers anymore. This man has already checked out. I'm pretty sure that in the off season, because they're going to have a long off season, they're going to have enough time to sit back and think about this season. And I'm pretty sure AD is going to think about leaving. I can see him leaving. He don't want to be there. He's fragile. Hopefully they don't rush LeBron back, because at this point, it's like, why even try to make the playoffs? You make the play-in to lose, and it's going to be a failed season for LeBron, because it's going to be the second year that he'll make the playoffs. And plus, you broke the all-time scoring record during a losing season. That take a lot of spark off of that accomplishment.
Windwalker said the Lakers are still good.
Y'all still good? I know. Because the goal of the season was to make the play-in, right? To lose, not the playoffs. When it's okay. I understand you're a fan. I get it. I understand. From one fan talking to another fan, I understand how you're feeling.
Play in to build. We look like he's playing in the build on them excuses. That's what
I understand. Yes, please stand tall with your team. But
stand tall, Playboy.
We all know that this is the end of the road. Salute the boys, the men.
Salute the boys, the men.
We have come to the end of the road. Okay. I think you guys should just look ahead for next season, and hopefully you guys don't sign Austin Reeves $50 million. Because he said,
listen, he's firing shots. He said Philly just got good. I think I'm gonna have to fall back and let y'all to deal with this one. I'm gonna have to
Philly
fall
just
back.
got good, huh?
Uh-oh.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna talk about the COVID title. Hmm. Please don't go there.
The Bubble
Okay.
Bunch. The Bubble Bunch. The Bubble Bunch.
Don't
The
go
Bubble
there with that
Bunch.
title. Okay.
The Bubble Bunch. The Bubble Bunch.
All right, because you guys had 2 months off to get healthy. Nobody wanted to play in the play-in. I mean, no one wanted to play in the bubble, So I put an asterisk by that championship, just like I put an asterisk by the San Antonio Spurs short season. So we can't talk about that. But guess what? What have y'all done since then? What have y'all done since the bubble? When I can't hear you.
What have you done for a win lately?
Yeah. How when? Hmm? Yeah. You guys gave away y'all future and signed up but old guys
Mm-mm.
who's not even most of them are not even in the league anymore.
Ah,
And then you brought in this guy by the name of Russell Westbrook who don't even fit with the team, who's a turnover machine.
that was
But
a waste of
then
time.
yes, I listen, I know my last
He said, "When
I
was your
know
last year?" Oh, now we
yeah,
going there now. When was your
yeah,
last?
yeah.
We're
See,
walking
see,
crazy.
anytime, see, this is how you know when you get someone in their feelings. When they always want to come up, well, when the last time y'all won the championship?
Shout
When
out to
when
Windwalker, man. Salute.
when we're talking about when we're talking about right now, what have you guys done now? We all know what the past is. We love the past,
But the past is
and
just that, right?
the past is the past. And like I said, yes, y'all won the title in the bubble, but what have y'all done since then?
And not for
Decline.
nothing, nobody respects that title, man. Let's keep it green, man.
Exactly. Like
Nobody
let's keep
respects
it
that
funky.
title, cousin.
Let's
Come
keep it
on, yo.
funky.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
nobody does. But what we do know is for the last 2 seasons, they've been at home
Mm,
watching the playoffs.
buying batteries from Home Depot.
LeBron been on vacation very early. That's what we do know.
Mm-mm.
And it looked like he may have an early vacation plan for this season. So good luck trying to get in the play-in. It's not y'all not even in the play-in. Y'all just trying to get in the play-in. So when y'all get to the playoffs, then we can have a conversation. When we can have that conversation then. But until now, we're gonna talk about teams who are winning. And um let's talk about the Bucks. Because I feel like the Bucks don't get no love like that. And they are still doing what they do, and that's win. Giannis out there, getting them ready, prepared for this playoff push. They still number one team in the East. Um, I still feel like they are the team to be in the NBA. Truthfully, I feel like they the top team. Everyone likes to talk about the Nuggets, but to me, the Nuggets are suspect because I have seen Joker get locked down. We haven't really seen Giannis get locked down by anybody this season like that. But I seen Joker get locked down. Um, so I feel like, as I say in the NCAA tournament, I feel like the Denver Nuggets are a fake number one seed. They're a number one seed that most likely won't get past the second round of the playoffs. No, that's how I see it. And then when we look at Boston, who's been having their struggles as of late. Hopefully those struggles continue, but they're still extremely dangerous, and that's the team that I meaning being a Sixers fan is most worried about because for some reason they match up with us better and they have our number. You know, we can't for some reason get the monkey off our back, which is the Boston Celtics for like the past, 2 to 3 seasons. They have been our kryptonite. And the way that the matchups is looking, we get past the first round, we will be playing Boston in the second round. And I feel like if we can get past Boston, we have a good chance of making it, to the finals this year. Look at Win.
Right. I saw that. I see that. I
Look,
see
look, look, look.
it.
Win is just going, and
We're still
it's
talking about
Win.
it.
It's okay. It's
um,
okay. We're still look. You still my homie. Win. I got nothing but love for you. It's okay.
when you
Y'all
when you
try
talk
again next year.
when you
Y'all
talk
try
about
again.
what's going on with the we mentioned the Boston Celtics. I mean, I think they have deeper problems. Jaylen Brown mentioned how there's a certain faction of Boston Celtics fans that go there to kind of like talk about things outside of the game. I don't think unless they do some real talking to this kid, I don't think he's going to be long for them, for the Boston
I know.
Celtics.
Yeah.
They lost to the Houston Rockets. Okay, they blew a large lead against Utah. So that cohesiveness that you've been talking about on the on the court, the cracks are showing. But I think that's a development of what happens off the court. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, I mean, again, Giannis is I think he's underrated superstar. Okay, all he does he does his thing. Even in situations where when like Trey Lyles got into it with Brook Lopez, Giannis, his agent was talking to him in his head like, "Yo, we need to get away from this situation. This is not for
He
you."
just walked
And
away.
again, and I'm gonna say this: I saw Derek Jeter do the same thing, right? And again, Giannis he's not there to fight. He's not there to have guns in the strip club. Right? He's not there for that. He's there to try to get his team another championship, which they thought wouldn't happen anyway in that small market in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Right? So he's good where he is. But I think that when you have allowing, 139 points and a loss at home to a Pacers team that didn't have Tyrese Halliburton, that's kind of like it reminds me of giving up 140 at home against the Timberwolves who didn't have Anthony Edwards. So again, I think that Chris Middleton, who was struggling so far this season, I think he's starting to get his touch back at the right time. You know what I mean? So I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be a team to watch in these last couple of weeks of the season headed towards the playoffs. But when you talk about the Eastern Conference, I think you look at a team like the Sixers, right? They played against the Chicago Bulls last night in double overtime. I watched it a little bit. Patrick Beverley has a team, kind of like doing some different things. But I think that Joel Embiid, if he doesn't get the MVP this year, regardless of what happens, if he doesn't get the MVP this year, something's wrong. Something's definitely. There's no way that the same guy, gets the MVP 3 years in a row and don't have no ring to show for it, no Western Conference Finals to show for it, none of that. So what are we doing? I think that, the Sixers, their winning streak got broken last night. So what? They'll start another one, right? And again, now is the time where you want to start getting those wins together because you know what's coming in a couple of weeks? NBA playoffs. Yes. So you don't want to be on a 4-game loser streak going into the playoffs. You know what I mean? So again, when you talk about those teams like the top teams in the East, Sixers, Bucks, Celtics, those teams are going to be there. What do you see as far as the Western Conference is concerned?
The West is just a big ball. It's peace when it's just a big ball of like uncertainty,
confusion,
uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen because we all thought that the West would flip when KD, got traded to the Suns. And then KD he slipped and twisted his ankle. So now he's out. They've been talking about maybe he'll be back within the next 2 games. Um, I say, why rush him back? You guys already in the playoffs. Let them rest their ankle for when it matters the most, which is the playoffs. Um, you got a team, Memphis. I don't know what's going on. Memphis is it's just wild down there right now. Um, there's no real leadership. Steven Adams tried to be the leader on the team, but it's him and a bunch of young guys who just wilding out there. You got Dylan Brooks mocking a dance after he scored, the other night, getting his 18th tech. Now he's suspended. He's always trying
Mm-hmm.
to fight, during the
Mm-hmm.
game. It's like he's trying. And it's funny, as much as he keeps saying that he dislikes Draymond Green, he's becoming the light-skinned Draymond Green. He's doing everything that Draymond Green has done at the beginning of his career. And what's super funny about that is why I love the internet. They pulled up an old post where he said he wanted to be the new Draymond Green. He loved Draymond Green. He wanted to be Draymond Green. And now, guess what? You the light skinned Draymond Green, and you're beefing with Draymond Green, and now you're beefing with Klay Thompson. It's like he's trying to create a beef and a rivalry with the Warriors, but you can't have a rivalry when I am the champion. I just want a chip on you guys. You guys couldn't stop me last season. I won a chip. But now you want to say that, trying to make it a quote unquote rivalry, but it can't be a rivalry if I'm always winning, if I won the NBA championship on you. So I think, you got John Morant supposed to be coming back tomorrow, possibly. Who knows? That guy he said he's no longer going to be on social media, during the season. The Grizzlies made a rule where on road games they're going to leave the city right after the game. That's crazy. These are grown men. So you telling me, as a grown man, a professional basketball player,
Millionaire, absolutely. Millionaire athlete,
millionaire,
absolutely. That's right.
athlete, that you cannot compose yourself to stay in the city after the game to leave the next day without getting in trouble, without being in the club with guns and popping bottles with strippers and got your shirt off and all that. Like, you can't
On
compose
IG
yourself.
Live.
Yeah, like, you can't be a professional and just wait to leave. Like, that right there, I never heard of that ever in my life before. That blows my mind. When I heard about that. And then we got, the Warriors, who unfortunately can't buy a win on the road.
Right.
This, like, they can't buy a win on the road. It's like, as soon as they go on the road, they forget how to play basketball. No one can shoot. Um, it's just very confusing with them on the road. So they're up in the air. And then when you look at the bottom, you Trailblazers, Lakers, Pelicans, you know, these guys are switching spots, who's in the play in, who's out to play in, so we don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like the last week is where, like, probably the last 3 games we'll find out
It's
who's
where
in
the
the
truth gonna
playoffs.
get told. Right.
Yeah, it's like you don't know. Like, you got the top 3 teams, and then everybody else is just like, I don't know,
Like,
Yeah, I don't know, because
they like this, y'all. They like this, y'all. Remember that guy?
yes, because when you look at the Mavs, also, you know, Luka's hurt. Kyrie is in and out the lineup. They don't have any defense, really. So that's another team that's offensive heavy, but no defense. And then And then you got the surprise team, the Sacramento Mike Browns. You know,
right.
because that man he should definitely win Coach of the Year. It should be.
And I'm gonna say this right now, not to cut your wisdom. I'm gonna say this right now. The Sacramento Kings are gonna win a playoff series.
I believe so too. I think
they're gonna win a playoff series.
Yeah, because again, they have no pressure.
And look who their coach is.
Mike Brown, who should win Coach of the Year. It should be no questions, hands down. Mike Brown should win Coach of the Year this year because what he's doing in Sacramento, nobody has seen since the likes of Chris Webber, a lot of divas. You know, nobody's seen. You know, the
Mike Bibby,
Stojakovic, Mike Bibby. Like nobody's seen that since then. You know,
since they got jerked at Game 7 against the Lakers.
Against the Lakers.
Yes. Yeah, we thought forgot about that. I'm sorry, Win. I'm sorry. I had to bring that up.
And ever since then, the Sacramento Kings been going in a downward spiral. So now they are lighting the beam. What then the number 2 spot in the West? Who would have thought that?
You saw that coming, right? That's right.
From damn near one of the worst teams in the league for several years to now being the number 2 team in the West hosting a playoff series.
Having home court advantage in the first round. Absolutely. That's right. Having home court advantage. That's right.
Nobody's seen that. You know, everybody was looking at De'Aaron Fox like, oh, you need to demand the trade. You need to get off this squad. And look at the squad they got now. They are balling from there. And it's not just from players that they drafted. A lot of them came from trades. People were just making trades and dumping their players off in Sacramento. And then Mike Brown just seeing the talent because they had the talent. They were this young. They had the talent, and he molded these young guys and made a team out of leftovers. They are basically the team of leftovers. Do you think about that?
Yeah.
The team of leftovers. Everybody came from different teams.
That's right.
It's like you want to make a major trade. Well, we need a third team. All right, let's
just Sacramento. See what they talk about. See what they want to throw in the mix. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
We could dump off Sabonis here. All right, we're gonna dump Sabonis off here. You know, and look what he's doing there.
That's right. That's right. Listen, man, we in the building. We're about to get up out of here. We got a few minutes left. I want to do the 3-minute rant.
Go do your 3 minutes.
And then we're gonna get up out of here. The 3-minute rant starts right now. What I want to talk about tonight with the 3-minute rant is the NHL. I know I got to show my hockey people some love. The NHL is talking about expanding. I'm all for it. I'm all for expansion in the NHL. They want to expand to 36 teams. Now, here's the thing. The teams that they want to add are teams that come from the WHA, which was the World Hockey Association. This was like in the 70s and the early 80s and things of that nature. And what happens is they want to expand to 36 teams. They want to have 6 divisions with 6 teams. So the teams they want to add are like Atlanta Thrashers, right? The Houston Aeros, right? The Quebec Nordiques. I forgot all about them, yada. Quebec, right? The Hartford Whalers, which have one of the best logos in sports, you ask me. And again, I think that brings it back to those cities and were starving. They were mad because those teams left. So now you bring them back, and I think that's a built-in component to lift up the crowd participation and how people are going to enjoy the game of hockey. I'm all for it. I think that's what they should do. You already have the teams that the teams that have been around forever. Your Detroit Red Wings, the New York Rangers, the Boston Bruins. You know what I mean? Then you have expansion teams like the St. Louis Blues, New York Islanders, Buffalo Sabres, and stuff like that. So again, to add all those teams in the mix that deserve and need and want hockey in the first place, it's a good look for the NHL. And again, we don't talk about hockey as much as we should on this show because a lot of people, they not into hockey like that. But that's okay because I am. And my co-D over there, Yada Bear, we're going to get her into hockey. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's what it is. And I think that the NHL, slowly but surely, they're watching what these other leagues are doing, right? And they're kind of like picking and choosing on how like the NBA is doing their thing, or how the NFL is doing their thing, or how Major League Baseball is doing their thing, or even the North American Soccer League or the USFL, they're doing their thing, or the WNBA. You know what I mean? They want to put these teams in cities that have hockey and had hockey already, so it would be an easy sell. It's not going to be like, oh, well, we're going to do expansion in Carolina and we're going to have to throw the Carolina Hurricanes out there. Who plays hockey in Carolina? But I think they got a Stanley Cup to their name. So again, it's not where you are, it's where you're at. So for me, I'm thinking that, it's going to be a good thing. It makes the competitive balance a little bit evened out. You got 6 divisions with 6 teams. You got 36 teams, and there you go. All right, that's the 3-minute rant. Yada, you got any last words before we get up out of here?
USA is down 1-3.
Yeah. And, yeah, those faces looking long in that dugout, ain't they? I seen Ohtani walk to. I see Ohtani walk to the bullpen.
Ohtani's getting ready. They are thinking he's probably going to be the reliever. He might close out the game. Pitching is hurting us. And we're not getting the hits when we got runners in scoring position. But definitely, stay tuned for this game, and let's get ready for baseball, and let's get ready for this NBA playoffs.
Absolutely,
I know my team going to be in it.
Look at this,
and your team going to be in it.
More or less.
Listen, they going to be in it, but other teams, we don't know. We don't know.
You already know what it is. Send your emails to Yada Bear. That's Yada Bear over there, y'all. We're in the building down at In Sports Talk, man. Shout out to Cameron and Mace. It is what it is. Salute. All right. We do what we do over here down at In Sports Talk. Smash that like, subscribe button. All right. We are in the building every Tuesday night. You already know the vibes. And again, offering. If you like what we do over here, we have fun with it. You know what I mean? $ left-handed at Cash App, so we can keep the lights on over here and things of that nature. So next week we'll be back. We're gonna talk American League next week. Somebody's gonna have a Phillies preview. Not gonna say no names, and we definitely gonna get into the Yankees and all that stuff. So salute to everybody. Salute again to Miss Stevens for the offering and the support. Salute to everybody in the chat room. We are in the building live and direct. You already know what it is. Get at us on Twitter. Get at us on Facebook. We here until we not. All right. Down in Sports Talk. We out. Y'all don't go nowhere. All right. Peace, y'all. We'll talk to y'all next week. One love. Rest in peace, Willis Reed.
Yes.